Who do you think has improved more, though?
Well, it's hard to say. It would be hard to say it's not Izzy because he's been the champion. He's been a dominant champion as well. So it's hard to say it's not him. But realistically, I think Jan just beat him for the first time. Has the riddle been figured out? Because as you know, once people realize how you can be beat, doesn't mean they can do it. But I'm saying that now people start finding ways to try to get into those positions.
They absolutely believe and know that it can be done, and so they have more confidence in doing it.
Well, on top of that, then, Izzy, once it does start to happen to him, he's like, oh, shit, it's happening again. And they're not the same fighters they were before when they were undefeated. And so they start seeing it happen, and they start allowing it to happen a little bit more, and it becomes a problem. It's a confidence thing. It goes back into this confidence situation. If I'm getting takedown, or if I'm losing takedowns, shit, it starts bothering me more. And so you think you're defending, or you're exerting a lot more energy to defend, but you're still not getting it. You're still getting taken down. It's a lot of work. But will Vettori gas himself out, trying to get the takedowns? Will he even attempt? Will he stand in front of him like a knucklehead and try and fight? What will he do? John, talk to me, Goose. What's he going to do?
I do believe that Vettori knows that, look, I can take him down because I have taken him down. And he did. But what he's got to do is improve upon what he did once he did take him down. You've got to get Israel's shoulders to the mat. You cannot just have his butt his butt hitting the floor is not a takedown. He is still in a position where he's comfortable. You've got to put that pressure and be able to take away his post, drive him down. Now when you're putting that shoulder pressure into his neck and his shoulders are on the mat, he's a completely different fighter. He's no longer dangerous to you. It's now about him just trying to get up, and it's all about, well, what do you do as far as utilizing your underhooks and good body positioning to make sure that doesn't happen, similar to what Blachowicz did. That's what Blachowicz did, and that's how he got his win. And so, like you said, that blueprint is there now. Because, if you go back and you watch that fight with Blachowicz, Izzy won the first round. And then Blachowicz started doing little things that started taking the fight over and putting pressure. And he definitely showed that if you're going to take Izzy down, don't try to take him and drive him into the fence. He's very good at utilizing that cage as a post, as a balance, fulcrum. And he's difficult to take down there, especially because of his size, his length. When you're trying to, get a guy and you're getting a single leg or a high crotch and he's really tall, it's tough to get their feet off of the ground, and that little bit of friction on the ground makes it to where you just burned a lot of energy. You didn't get him down, and now you're going, oh, shit, and you're trying to suck wind. That blast double, and Vettori can get it. It's just he's got to time it right, and he's got to use his stand-up to make that timing happen. That's the question, can he do it? Because let's just be honest, there's not many guys that match up with Israel when it comes to the stand-up position. He's slick. He is so good with mixing up his attacks, changing his angles, giving you feints that make you think that he's going to do one thing, and then all of a sudden he's bringing, a different attack. He covers his kicks well with his hands. He just does everything functionally very, very well in the stand-up. So Vettori is at a disadvantage when it comes to the stand-up game, even though his stand-up has gotten really good. It's all about his timing and execution, and when does he attempt those takedowns, and does he complete them? Does he get it to the point where he actually keeps Israel on the mat for a while?
I think the Kevin Holland fight was a good fight for Vettori leading up to this fight, knowing that he wasn't sure if he was getting the next title shot when he had that fight, and Kevin Holland came in as a last-minute replacement. But, the scenario is very good in terms of, it's good. You're having to fight someone who's tall, who is long and lanky. I know as much as you guys on the comment section like hear me say that. Okay. It really just comes down to those guys, like you said, it's hard. Sometimes you lift them and their feet still touch the ground. You can't get them up off the ground really. And they can, that little bit of friction or this being able to put one or two toes down, it makes a big difference. As well as you have to remember when they're lifting, they're usually against the fence. So you have to bring them away from the fence, then try to dump them. And as soon as they land, they go right to putting their body against the fence because now you can only attack one side of them. And that changes how guys will eventually start getting their takedowns. That's why you're seeing a little bit more of the open mat wrestling right now. People are not hitting the double and the single anymore and then driving you to the fence and lifting like Khabib does. They're doing more of the, let me try to get the takedown out here in the open. So like what Frankie used to do, Frankie Edgar, he'd shoot on the single and switch to the double, and then turn the corner and then basically lift and dump you right there in the cage. Instead of taking you to the cage and trying to lift you from there. He was never a big guy. So that's why I think he just chain wrestled the fuck out of you.
And he's also
whereas,
smart.
Khabib, yeah, he was smart. Khabib would just drive you to the fence, lock his hands, and you were going for a ride. Vettori could do that. I think he can do that against Izzy, but can he do it consistently without making himself tired? Because you have to remember that if you don't get the takedown, Izzy gonna make you pay.
Yep.
And so when it comes down to, now my shoulders are heavy, my back is heavy, everything's tired, and I can't keep my hands up, and now I'm stuck out here with a world-class striker. Yeah, I don't know about that. That's the thing. Like those are things that go through fighters' minds. You have to remember, a fighter's thinking to himself, man, if I don't get this takedown, I'm gonna be stuck in the middle of this cage with Izzy, who's a phenomenal striker. What am I gonna do? I got to circle, stay away, and he's gonna see that, and it's gonna put more pressure on me. He's gonna have to fight a very smart fight to make sure that he's not wasting energy on positions that he knows he's not gonna get. Because if he does, it can be a short night for him. But I think overall, this is gonna be a fun fight. And if the title does change hands, there's so many other fights for Marvin Vettori to fight. And like Izzy's fought a lot of the guys that are already in this bracket, and so it opens up the door now, the floodgates for like, oh, now we can see Vettori versus Whitaker. You see Vettori versus somebody, like Paulo Costa. You can see those fights all happen. So there's a lot to be said, I think, in the terms of it changing hands. I just want to slow my roll, though. I don't know if that's going to happen.